Hey everyone, my name is Taylor, and this is a level 150 Myth build guide. With the addition of Lemuria, we've had some new gear added to each school. From the final fight, some new wands from the quest line, and just overall, we have a new era of gear. In Lemuria, enemies do significantly more damage, so the meta has been shifting very quickly. Before I show you what my build is, let me comment on a couple of things. I am currently not at quote-unquote perfect stats. Why? Well, I'm missing some jewels, and my pet isn't perfect, and I'm missing the amulet I want to be using. However, I will cover all that in a moment. Please note, the pet I'm recommending is a triple pet with 2.0 stats. This pet should have 25 damage for Myth and 17 resistance universally. This pet, because this build is focused on a free-to-play setup, it doesn't matter if this is on a pet that gives you a set bonus or gives you a specific card. That is completely irrelevant for what I'm showing you, but please know for my build, I'm missing 4 damage and 2 resist, and I'll get on to what else I'm missing and what else will need to change in a moment. I'm also going to be showing you a couple different builds. One is the build I'm going to be going with and the one I'm going to be farming jewels for to finish off, and I'm also going to be showing you a problem with this build and a solution I've come up with, and also we're going to be talking about a third build, which you will see why basically it might be easier to get if you do not want to farm dragoons, because this build will be using dragoons. So let's begin. If I click on my character, I'm sitting at 155 myth damage. If my damage was correct, I would have 162. That is 167 total. My resistance is 48. Again, if this was correct, it would be sitting at 49. I'll explain why in a moment. My accuracy is at 24. That means I have 104% accuracy on normal myth hits and 99% accuracy on shadow hits. That is important for later. My critical rating is at 540, but I have a jewel on, so please take that into account. It's more like 520. My block rating is exactly where it should be. My armor piercing should be at 28%. Mine's only at 17 because I'm missing pierce jewels. My incoming is 20%. My outgoing doesn't matter. My pip conversion would be at 500-ish. And my power pip will be over 100. And my shadow rating is at 136. Please also note my health is at 8,779. I am missing a couple health jewels, but this is about where it's going to be. It's going to be right under that 9,000 threshold with this build. So what is this build? Well, let's begin. I'm running the Dragoon's Hat. Dragoon Hat gives, particularly the thing I'm running this setup for is the accuracy. So this Dragoon Hat, very important for Myth. I'm running the Light Brigade Robe. I'm running the Dragoon Boots. I'm going to just assume everyone knows where to farm this, but this is the Abandoned House to farm for the Dragoon sets, and for the Robe, you farm Tennyson. The new wands, I'm using the 6% Pierce wand from Lemuria. There are enemies that drop this in the heap, and in the final, the base chamber, the whole area with the musical area for Lemuria, they all drop it. There's a number of bosses that drop this, and you can buy it off of Gamma's trading post for a varying amount of empowers. But this is the best wand in the game for people not wanting to pay for packs. Athame, I'm running the Merciless Athame. Here you can see where my pierce jewels are missing. I'm running the Merciless Amulet, but I should be running the Dragoon's Amulet. I just haven't wanted to craft it, and I think a lot of people can understand that who are like me and haven't gotten every single possible piece of Dragoon gear. it's frustrating. But if you want to maximize your damage on your myth, you will need to get the Dragoon Amulet if you do not already have it. Lastly, I'm running the Aphrodite ring, and this will give me plenty of pip and plenty of damage. As you can see, this is where I need to put a Pierce Jewel too, and I would also like to mention that this current build can be run perfectly fine with the Alpha and Omega ring. That's why I have it in my that's why I have it, just to show you that if you run this, your damage will go down by a whopping 1% because of the curb, and your accuracy and your pip chance will be high enough regardless. Here's my pet, and as you can see, this is not a perfect pet. This is extremely flawed, missing 4 damage and 2 resist maximum. So by swapping this one out for the Dragoon's Amulet, you lose 1 resist, but you also gain 2 from here, so that's a net 1 and net total 10 damage for the true number up to 167, and it takes it down to 162 with the damage curve. Mounts, I'm not going to be using any mounts in this showcase. There's of course plenty of crowns mounts you can get. There's the 3% Gulcher one, and there's the whales and the combinations of the Stompy Bronco, or whatever the Frilosaur combination is for myth. I forget. The deck I'm running, I'm still running the Xanadu deck because I'm low on slots, or low on pip jewels, but I'd recommend swapping to a Supreme that has critical and block. That is my preference for this character. That's what I would rather have. So that's why I've left my Xanadu deck as is for the time being. But note, for my stats, I'm losing out on 50 health and probably 20 block, 20 crit maximum. So that's where the comparison's going to be. So this build is very solid, and if you're just questing and you're doing minding your own business, I think this is probably the best build because, well, you are relatively tanky with nearly 9,000 health and decent block and pretty solid resist. You're not going to fizzle or fail pip on most things. However, if you really want to get over this 25% threshold so that you cannot fizzle any shadow spells, then I have another build for you. This build has the exact same damage, so before you say, oh no, I don't want to lose damage, this has the exact same damage. This build has the exact same resistance. This build has 2% more accuracy. The big kicker is here. This build increases your critical up to 600, or actually it's like 598, I believe, or something like that without my jewel. Sorry, it's 600. This build gives you 600 critical, and this gives you extra damage on enemies. So this really truly is a bigger damage than the other build because of the higher critical, and this might be a better build if you're running very low level content. But if you're running high level content, the problem you're going to see immediately is that my block is back at 130 and my health is at 7,800, which means I've lost about 1,000 health from swapping to this build for 1% chance to not fizzle shadow and a bit of a critical increase. My incoming is lower, but that doesn't really matter. My pip is still fine. My pip conversion would still be fine. For this build, it's running the same Dragoon, Tenny Dragoon wand, but for the Athame is where it gets different, where I'm running the Darkmoor Yagini Athame. This gives me that 2% universal accuracy, which saves the 1% chance to fizzle shadow spells. I'm also running, of course, I should be running the Dragoon, and here I would be running, here because I have the pips from the Athame, I'm sacrificing my block, I might as well lean into the critical and damage aspects, so I'm going to be running the Director's Pressure Ring. This is the Circle Ring from Caramel, the 138 ones. These are found in the bazaar. You can also buy these at Gamma Trading Post or a trade server like that. Please do the Circle Ring. The reason why the Circle one is better is because the Square one gives you 1% more damage and a little bit more crit, but you get overall more damage with this by socketing either a flat damage jewel or a critical jewel, and then you have the ability to have pierce from this, or you have the ability to have pierce. Either way, this jewel is better than the square version of this jewel. Please don't be fooled by the 1% damage increase. It will not make enough of a difference on your stat table to matter. I'm still got the same pet, so again, the resist and damage would come out to the same total between these two builds. And of course, deck is the same. So you might be wondering, hey, Taylor, I just got to 150 on my myth, but I didn't want to work on my myth before. I don't have dragoons on my myth, or maybe I don't have 3 pieces. I don't want to go back and farm dragoons anymore. What about the Merciless Gear? Well, let me tell you about the Merciless Gear and why I'm not running it, but why you might still be able to run it. So for the Merciless Gear, I'm going to recommend your Athame and Ring go to this pattern where you have the Merciless Athame and the Aphrodite Ring, and you will more than likely, the Aphrodite Ring is a little more important for this build because you have pip issues. Also for this build, you will be running the Merciless Myth Talisman and not a Dragoon, so if you get this, you're spot on and you don't need to worry about any other amulets. Here's where the difference is made. If you're going to run the Light Brigade armor, currently, as you see, my damage is 155 and 48 resist. Let's swap to Merciless. If we swap to the Merciless hat and the Merciless boots, my damage goes up to 161. With this additional damage, fixing my pet problem takes the total up to 169, meaning my total damage at the end of everything is 163. That means for running this gear set increases my damage by 1%. My resistance is up to 50 with the correct pet, so that increases my total resistance by 2%. It upgrades so marginally that the sacrifices may not be worth it, and here's the sacrifice. The sacrifice is this accuracy. Unfortunately, you get 16% accuracy with Merciless Gear, and this means that you will have to socket an accuracy jewel. The problem, of course, being I have these 2 with pip jewels, so what's my pip chance at? Well, before I go there, let me just mention critical. My critical is 500. It would be high 400, like 490. My block is fine. This is all good. My pierce would be at the same exact place. My incoming, outgoing is a little higher. Doesn't matter. My power pip, though, is at 108. If I take off a jewel, that's going to put my power pip at 98%, and then I'm going to be able to get up to 31% myth accuracy. So here's the dilemma. Of course, with Merciless, you're going to either be able to fail pip or fizzle on your normal stuff. So this is why I'm not recommending this gear set. Also, in case I just realized I didn't point this out, but your health will have basically no difference from Dragoons with running the Merciless hats and boots. Okay, so how do we solve for this accuracy and pip issue? Well, there's 2 ways that I believe work. One is the more obnoxious, and that is getting a pet that has accuracy on it. If you're going to be doing PvP, again, this isn't a PvP guide, but I do know that some people run accuracy on their pets, along with pierce and other things. Putting accuracy on your pet is a good solution if you don't have one, but then the damage increase you're getting from the Merciless is you're going to be losing it, and maybe the resist depending on what pet you're running. So the benefits you get from running Merciless are immediately lost because of this accuracy pip issue. Most people, if you are looking to run the best gear, do not run the Merciless hats and boots. Run the Dragoon hat, boots, and amulet. But say you don't want to farm Dragoons, and that's the only thing you care about, and you just want a good myth build. Well, I'll give you a quick solution. Run the Malistaire Robe. The Malistaire Robe will reduce your damage by a little bit, But as we have already discussed, if you are choosing this option, you obviously do not care about having the best possible stats, so this is the next best thing. The Malistaire Robe will reduce your resistance back down to that 49. Your damage will also be reduced back down to the 162 damage level, because again, this will be up to 167, reduced down to 162. Your accuracy will be back at that 1% fizzle rate, and your crit will be right where it was. Your pierce will be right where it was, and your power pip will be 109. But well, your power pip will be perfect. You'll have the power pip problem solved by running this. And if you really want to be able to work with it, then work with your power pip and work with your accuracy, then you could of course swap to the Darkmoor Athame. So that is the dilemma that Myth has right now. So that is why I'm recommending you run the Dragoon gear. For the time, that'll be it. I'm looking to create these guides for every single school, and I'm looking to get this done very quickly, but farming the gear and editing these videos will take some time. I'm trying to increase the quality of my editing as well very quickly, so that's also what slows me down. But if you could please subscribe, please like the video, and please share with your friends if you found this helpful. Thank you, and that'll be it. Goodbye.